Aayush Ailawadi, who's my colleague. He's technology editor and presenter. Also Kanishk Gaur, founder and CEO, India Future Foundation. He's also the former director of cyber and digital transformation, EY. Good morning to both of you. Aayush, I'll come across to you first. First of all, how is GPT-4 different from its predecessor?
Well, GPT-4 is different in a number of ways, but largely when we talk about it, it is much faster. In simple words, it can deal with many more nuanced instructions than the previous generations. And more importantly, it can now also, eventually at least, keep images as input. So that's going to be a game changer, but that's not gone live yet. For ChatGPT Plus users, we already have GPT-4. But just to give you a little bit of insight, a few weeks ago on Tech Today, we had access to Bing, which was powered by GPT-4, a previous generation, an early version of it. But we got quite an interesting, hypothesis with ChatGPT and Bing powered ChatGPT, because the potential is endless when you're talking about what this can actually do, right? It largely relies on a multimodal model. Now, what does that mean? It can take text inputs of more than 25,000 words. You could earlier just do 3,000 words. It'll also have an updated data set, because earlier on, ChatGPT, I think, had a data set till September 21. So a lot of the responses you're getting were dated. Now, the good thing is, like the previous package was saying, that even Sam Altman of OpenAI has largely accepted that this is a model which is going to get better with time. The entire team at OpenAI and AI experts do largely agree that AI will get better with more of us using it as well. And I expect GPT-4 to be much smarter. I'm very excited about the image search input feature as well, because they've already had some experiences over the past couple of months with influencers and journalists using Bing, the new Bing, which would take on Google. I think this is fascinating. Just to give you a little bit of quick perspective, if you think of the hype around it, right? There's this crazy stat going around where the number of days it takes to get to 1 million users. Spotify, which is a really popular service, took 150 days. Instagram took half that amount, 75 days. And it's taking ChatGPT, a much lesser time to get to that. In nearly a week, they have gotten to that figure. So you can just think about how exponentially it's growing in the world of AI. And I think GPT-4 is going to be no stranger to that phenomenon.
Okay, so is what kind of a sign is that? That's going to be something that we should be analyzing as well. Kanishk, if I come across to you, what does this mean for the future of AI as well? Also, for jobs, should we be worried? Will ChatGPT, GPT-4 replace humans?
Thanks. I don't think so. ChatGPT will replace humans. There is always a need for upskilling and working with AI. However, there could be certain types of jobs which might get redundant, which could be content writing, right? A lot of people hire content writers. Now, if you've got ChatGPT, which can produce content in a fantastic way, then those jobs might be redundant very soon. We will also require people who can use ChatGPT with some of the other functionalities and be used for creating content, narrative, could be used for data analyzing. So if you look at Morgan Stanley started using ChatGPT-4 for analyzing data. So we would see that analysts who are working on technology or using data science would start using ChatGPT-4 for doing analysis. However, there are still limitations in terms of biases which ChatGPT-4 might bring in. And this was an issue with the earlier GPT version as well. So the feeding which goes into GPT-4 is going to be very, very important. So for example, if I put in a lot of fake news about somebody on the internet, there is a strong possibility that ChatGPT-4 will pick that news and create an image or a narrative which may be biased or misleading. So this is one of the key risks which you will see. So ethics will be a big concern here. The other concern is going to be how do you tackle fake news and misinformation which could be picked up through the internet and could be misleading for platforms like ChatGPT. The other concern is going to be how does some of the other businesses which so far use Bing adapt, right? So how do you use AI to enable greater marketing, sales, where everybody is relying on data? So how do you supplement using AI is going to be a key question here. So we will see that a lot of companies so far have not been using ChatGPT for business. So ChatGPT for business is going to be a key component apart from personal use. So I see a heavy application of ChatGPT when it comes to business.
Kanishk, stay on with us, and Aayush as well. Now, the ChatGPT-4 chatter. Let's take you through some of the advantages and disadvantages. This is what we, of course, are gauging from our understanding of what we're picking up from the internet itself. So, some of the advantages: quick response time. That's one of the advantages. Also, a disadvantage: limited knowledge of recent events. So not much is known about after 2021 is what we know from ChatGPT 4. So that is one advantage: good understanding of ethics and morality. Disadvantage: can generate incorrect information. Again, I misrepresent something on the internet, that's what GPT-4 picks up, that's going to be problematic. So these are some of the advantages and disadvantages. Also, advantage: less expensive. Of course, this is all available on the internet. You pay a premium, you can now access GPT-4. Disadvantage: misunderstands the task. So that is something which is very critical as far as when you, of course, take recourse to a chatbot in terms of seeking its help. It could misunderstand tasks, it could provide you with incorrect information as well. Aayush is still with us. Aayush, again, we just took our viewers through some of the advantages and some of the disadvantages. Very intriguing for me to see that it has a good sense of morality and ethics, and then of course disadvantages also, that it could misunderstand tasks, that it could possibly pick up misinformation, as Kanishk was also saying, from the internet in order to, of course, then pass it on.
Absolutely. That's a huge concern when you're talking about the data sets that it is using. But obviously, this is all yet in initial days. These are teething issues. Things will get better. Just to give you some perspective on the jobs debate that you guys were talking about earlier. Overall, the impact of AI on jobs will depend on many factors, including the type of the job, the level of automation that's possible, and the rate of adoption of AI technologies by different industries. But it's also likely that new job opportunities will arise as a result of the increased use of AI. Now, that was not me saying that. That was actually me asking ChatGPT-4 exactly what will AI do? Will AI take away jobs? I'm just giving you an example of how even AI, ChatGPT has its own view on it. But largely, to answer that debate, look, will it take away jobs? I really think genuinely it will augment a lot of existing jobs, ones that are repetitive and redundant, yes. But largely, we're talking about schools, we're talking about large organizations, we're talking about coders, because this GPT-4 version is already being used by coders and top companies to integrate into their existing workflows. Yeah, I was with a leading cloud service provider as well. Even they are already talking about how you can use GPT-4 with AI and ML models. If you don't pick it up early on, it might be something that could essentially hamper your growth. So all of us should get onto it and try figuring out what it's going to be like, because honestly, it's going to change the user experience with search as well. In terms of some of the concerns, look, GPT-4 does use the internet and trolls through all these data sets and gives you these answers. You're relying on a more accurate model and all the marketing spiel from OpenAI. But often on Tech Today, we have spoken to experts who have essentially revealed to us that if you were to plant that misinformation and it was to pick that up, and if the checks and balances weren't in place, it could be a concern. Also, in the past, Google had to shut down some of its early efforts in AI because there were calls and remarks that it was becoming sentient, the AI. Now, that is a concern as well, right? Where does the ethics come in? Where does the privacy and security concerns come in? These are genuine questions we need to ask, but take everything with a pinch of salt. It's great marketing by OpenAI, which is also supported by Microsoft. But for now, let's learn what this AI is all about and give it genuine feedback, because it's only going to get better if we are responsible with the use of AI like GPT-4.
Okay. Kanishk, would you like to come in over there? Would you agree with Aayush when we, of course, told our viewers, gave them a sense of the advantages and the disadvantages? How do you think, which one outweighs the other?
So obviously, there's a great advantage with ChatGPT 4 because it's going to help people enhance their work. It's going to help people in businesses. But there is also a couple of aspects which Ayush highlighted around security, privacy, on biases. So some of these things have to be taken into consideration. For example, India is contemplating a data protection bill. But if there is so much of information available about me on the internet, how do I safeguard my privacy from platforms like ChatGPT? Is going to be key concern. And ethics of AI, we've spoken about it. There could be aspects, for example, if there are coders who are using ChatGPT to write code or pick up code, they might pick up a code using AI, which could be vulnerable code. So, for example, a coder might go to GitHub and pick up a code from somewhere else automatically, and it might have security weaknesses. It might expose the entire platform of that company to major security threats and vulnerabilities. So that could be one of the key concerns, right? Too much dependence on AI without taking security by design or trust by design or privacy by design are going to be some of the key concerns. But we have seen that Microsoft, OpenAI, they build on some of these aspects as we move forward. A lot of times, initially, when products are built, they are built to scale to generate more users to start using it. And eventually, we see security, privacy concerns being aligned. But today, the world is also getting more data localized. We have seen data localization regulations coming. We are seeing in data protection regulations come in, and these are very different in every part of the globe. So California data protection bill is going to be different. GDPR in EU is different, right? And when India comes out, so how does a platform like ChatGPT adapt to some of these regulations is going to be a key concern. So regulatory concerns are going to be very, very important for ChatGPT. However, there is strong potential to create new jobs where people would require ChatGPT to use, as part of their daily lives. So you will see large number of job descriptions coming out where there will be a pre-requirement that people should understand and learn how to use ChatGPT. So I see, banking sector using it ChatGPT in a big way, e-commerce sector using ChatGPT in a big way, even healthcare sector, right? So that's going to be a big win for ChatGPT. So striving that perfect balance between creating new jobs and also looking at security, privacy, and trust is going to be a key concern here.
Okay. Important points that are being raised by both you, Kanishk, and Aayush. Kanishk, I'll come back across to you. Just to keep things a little light, viewers want to understand what does the future look like. When we look at ChatGPT, we're looking at GPT-4. What does the future look like? Like some people even want to know, are anchors like me going to be replaced in discussions like this, and ChatGPT-4 will be talking to you next?
See, it's going to be how human adapt to ChatGPT and use it in their daily lives. The kind of new jobs which will get created where AI is going to be a key component. I don't think so humans are going to get replaced. It is only going to be upskilling and enhancing our work function. For example, if you look at marketing today, a lot of content is created by content generators. AI could be used for generating content and then be used for it enhancing it further. So ChatGPT could be used for creating new videos, text. It could be used for writing speeches. It could be used for doing analysis when you put out a lot of data. So that's something which is a key element. So a lot of times when you work on ChatGPT, you have to feed in data. Otherwise, ChatGPT does not give you right answers. So what's going to change is now you can not only feed data, but you'll be able to feed videos as images as well, and later videos. So you can start using text, images, and videos to then analyze situations. So that's going to be a key differentiator. A lot of this work was done manually. So far the demand has been on data scientists to do this, but this is another tool which data scientists could use. There will be excellent use case in data science. There would be excellent use case in marketing. This would also require great amount of use by financial analysts, right? But the key issue is that the GPT data is only updated till 2021. How GPT-4 gets feeded post October 2, 2021 is going to be a key thing. And would that be done by OpenAI themselves, or they're going to create new interfaces is going to be a very important aspect. Another key concern I want to highlight here is that people who do cyber attacks or cyber frauds could use GPT-4 for automating a lot of cyber attacks using artificial intelligence. And if you start feeding in data to ChatGPT, it can create new mechanisms to fraud people. It can create new mechanisms to actually do attacks on people's digital infrastructure. So that is going to be a key concern, and how OpenAI looks at stopping this is going to be very important task.
All right. Okay. Some very important points that have been raised by both you and Aayush through this discussion. Something, of course, to chew over as well. Aayush Ailawadi and Kanishk Gaur, thank you so much for joining us.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.